A few weeks ago, Star Wars released the first trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out in May of 2026. It was very short and really didn't give us a whole lot of info on the plot, but overall I thought it looked pretty good. We got to see some fan favorite characters like Zeb and the first look at Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt, and it teased some epic looking action set pieces. But I noticed that after the trailer ended, I really didn't feel much, and based on the reactions from fans online, that seems to be a lot of people's experience too. It only seemed like yesterday that The Mandalorian was the most popular and beloved show by Star Wars fans everywhere, so what led us to the point where seeing these characters on the big screen just doesn't feel as exciting as it should? There are a couple different factors that I want to dive into and figure out, because this topic has been on my mind ever since I saw the trailer. First, I think we gotta go back in time a bit and remember what made us all love The Mandalorian in the first place. I remember watching the first episode of the show the day Disney Plus released. That ending of the first episode when he finds Grogu was iconic and had us all excited and intrigued to find out more. The theories immediately started. Was this Yoda's child? Was it a clone? Who is this baby Yoda, and does he have the Force? Well, in episode 2 we found out and got an amazing reveal that he did in fact have the Force. From there, everyone was hooked, watching the show weekly and theorizing about what was to come. At the end of the first season, Mando was given the task of returning the child to his own kind, the Jedi, hyping us all up for season 2, which delivered a bigger and better season, bringing back beloved characters like Ahsoka, Boba Fett, and Luke Skywalker. This is where the show had reached its peak. We learned more about the child, finally getting his name Grogu, and Mando completed his journey of reuniting Grogu with the Jedi. The scene was so emotional. We were all in tears as Din took his helmet off to say goodbye to Grogu and give him to the greatest Jedi there is, Luke Skywalker. It was the perfect way to set up the third season. Din and Grogu were separated and were going to have to go on their own journeys. Grogu would be training with Luke and Din would go explore his roots on Mandalore. But right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where the first mistake was made for these characters. 1 year later, the book of Boba Fett came out, and the creators made an awful decision. They decided to make half of the show about Boba Fett, one of the most legendary characters in Star Wars, basically just Mandalorian Season 2.5. There are literally 2 full episodes in the show where we barely see any Boba Fett, and we get the follow-up to the end of Mandalorian Season 2. I do really love these episodes. I think they are quite amazing actually, but they have no business being in this show. All of that build up from season 2 for Grogu to find a Jedi basically gets rushed and resolved in one episode. We get some amazing moments with Luke training Grogu, but it is cut off because Grogu wants to be reunited with Din instead. And within one episode, his training with Luke is over and him and Din are just back together. This was the biggest mistake the show could have made. Of course, we all wanted to see Din and Grogu reunite, but it just felt so easy and effortless. Them being separated had so much importance and weight to it at the end of season 2, and the payoff just did not handle it with the same amount of care that it deserved. There was a ton of speculation that it was the Disney higher-ups who made this decision because they wanted Grogu to be around more so they could sell more toys, and yeah, I don't put it past them. I can definitely see that being true. It would have been a bit more forgivable if these episodes were instead the first couple in season 3 of The Mandalorian, but they were not. Like, imagine you were someone who did not watch the Book of Boba Fett. You finished season 2 with Mando and you were heartbroken and can't wait to watch season 3 to finally get that triumphant moment when Din and Grogu are reunited and oh wait, what? They're already together in the first scene and that's it. There goes the stakes. From there, season 3 was just a massive disappointment. It wasn't terrible or anything, besides a few things, but it just felt like it didn't care as much as the first two, and it felt way more directionless as the big plotline of Grogu finding a Jedi was already finished and resolved. The ending of the season almost felt like it could have been the finale for these characters, so we didn't really know what was going to happen next. So yeah, I think the decisions after season 2 are a huge reason why there isn't much hype for the Mandalorian and Grogu film, but it's definitely not the only one. One of the biggest culprits for my own lack of excitement for the film is actually Andor. To me, Andor is one of the greatest things that come out of Star Wars, period. It's honestly in my top 10 favorite pieces of media ever. The problem is, Andor is so good that it makes the other Disney Star Wars projects look amateur. I feel that Andor set a new gold standard for modern day Star Wars and made the flaws in shows like The Mandalorian way more apparent. I rewatched The Mandalorian recently with my girlfriend after finishing Andor season 2, and while I still love the first 2 seasons, there are definitely moments that just make you roll your eyes. And this isn't just a Mando thing, it's all the Disney Plus shows outside of Andor. Cheap looking production, lackluster writing, and acting that just feels like it belongs on the CW network at times. This stuff is especially apparent in shows like Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett. It was noticeable before, but after the Emmy award winning Andor, it all just sticks out way more now. When the trailer for the Mando movie dropped, it was kind of off the heels of Andor Season 2's ending. The bar for Star Wars was raised, and the Mando trailer just seemed to be back to what we were used to. Small-scale storytelling with cameos and member berries. Like, hey, look at this, AT-ATs, look at this, Jabba the Hutt's son. Like, that stuff's cool, but it doesn't invest you like Andor does. There's no serious long-term storytelling there. Like, yes, I love AT-ATs, but it isn't enough of a hook to get me excited for a movie, and the trailer treated it like it was, with the music and everything. It just felt like that was the biggest thing they had to show off. Now let me just slow down for a second here, because I don't want to make it sound like I am not excited for this film. I really am, and I hope to God that it's great. Jon Favreau has directed some incredible films and clearly understands Star Wars. I think it is going to be a really fun action-adventure movie, but I don't think it's bad for us fans to just want a bit more than that. It has been 6 years, 7 when the movie actually comes out, since a Star Wars film has been in theaters. We're all hungry for the franchise to return to the big screen, but I just wish it would feel more grand than an extended episode of The Mandalorian. Say what you will about the sequel trilogy, I don't like those films, but man, they knew how to get you hyped with their trailers. Each one felt like a cinematic event, no matter how bad the movie turned out being. The Force Awakens trailer is honestly one of the best ever made, and we all want Star Wars to recapture that magic and make it feel like an event again. So yeah, overall, I do feel excited by this movie personally, but when I hear people talk about films they are excited for in 2026, I rarely hear The Mandalorian and Grogu mentioned. Andor set a new bar for serious storytelling in Star Wars, and fans desperately want more of that. The return of Star Wars to the big screen is a big deal, and I hope that they can start treating it like that.